Merry Meet Annie here. This video is on the topic of the Anam Cara, and it was a conversation that Mums the Witch, Beck, and I had, where she heard me mention it a couple of times on my videos, referring to my Anam Cara, and she had said something to me about we had in common a strong relationship with someone that qualified as that of Anam Cara. And I said, oh, do a video. And she's already done her video. And I'm the dragger. It's taken me several days to get to mine. I'm going to gift myself with watching hers when this one is done. I didn't want to watch it ahead of time because I wanted to then be able to appreciate her point of view, separate from anything I was coming up with in my notes to self to record this one. So, Anam Cara. What is an Anam Cara? Well, the literal translation of it from the Old Irish is soul friend. So it's someone who is in your life that you have the most intimate of friendships with. The kind of friendship that is based on love, respect, total honesty, and the being there for each other no matter what. There are harsh words in the sense that sometimes an Anam Cara is your best coach when it comes to hearing what you don't want to hear. That's part of that kind of love. It's this very special love in the form of friendship, this spirit of the Anam Cara. When you go back to some of the ancient definitions of what this might be, you read about the fact that the ancient Irish concept was that our souls were an aura that was of our body and surrounding our body. And you could meet others that you could literally blend your soul with. And I was giving some thought to this, and I was trying to describe what is an Anam Cara. And I was discussing it with someone who said, well, it's a twin flame. Now, honestly, I don't know the phrase twin flame, so off I went all over the internet to see if I could get a consensus view, because there's lots of different ones out there, what that might mean. No, I don't think it's the same as what most of the definitions that I saw for twin flame were. The twin flame had that feeling of, and it's a beautiful thing to think about, one flame, one fire that split into two beings. So two halves of a whole kind of thing is what I was picking up as a possibility for twin flame. Not what the Anam Cara feels like to me. I'm going to link you to Becca's video below. Could be, but that's what it is for her. Like I said, I haven't watched her video yet. It's a present I'm going to give myself when this one is uploaded. But Anam Cara, as I experience it with my Anam Cara, has more to do with two very distinct and separate souls that somehow are brought in touch with each other. And they might complement each other, they might challenge each other. At the root of it all is their love for each other. It is a love which is without limitations. Unconditional love. It's also a love that's tough love. It's the ability to be honest with the other, to be a mentor and a guide and a coach. It's the kind of love that doesn't wait for someone else to ask for an opinion, that out of love will offer an opinion when it feels this is the time to share it. It is an intimacy. I met my Anam Cara online. I don't know for sure now. I'm bad with years, probably when I was in my early 40s. So we've known each other, I guess, for 20 years or so. We do get to meet in person every now and then. In the old days when I could still fly, I used to get to her. She'd get to me, as she could too. Thank the goddess, she can still get out and about, and she and her husband come to visit us whenever they can. Our connection was cyber as much as anything. We recognized each other, even in the ways we connected by words through the internet. And we knew each other right from the beginning. It wasn't like recognizing an other half, though. It was about coming in touch with someone you knew well. I have over the years wondered about things like group soul or community soul, and wondered if we were part of some wider connection, the same entity in some way, Maybe even if we can think about the concepts of group soul, where we return between incarnations, and we mix and we mingle and we come back out as a new combination of that, that maybe there is some of me in her in me. I still think that's a little bit different than the concept of twin flame, where identities are kept distinct over time. She's been there for me for 20 years, as I have been for her, through all kinds of changes in life, through ups and downs and joys and sorrows. The person I can depend upon to talk things through. She knows when I need to talk, just to have somebody listen, and she knows when, even when I don't know, I need a response. She offers guidance, and I am the same thing to her. It's the love of friendship, friendship as love, taken to the nth degree. And Anam Cara could certainly be a life partner, a mate, someone that you are connected to physically. Most often, though, that's not how it works out when it comes to the Anam Cara. It might be in other ways of being connected. The Anam Cara, though, it almost requires a little bit of separation, a little bit of distancing that allows perspective on each other. I think of it, the power, for instance, of the Lover's card in the tarot. The power of the way we learn to define who we are by connection with and understanding of the other, what is outside us, especially when we connect to other people. In that process, though, for all that sounds like a distinction of me and them, when we have a perspective of ourselves and the other, we start to understand that's an illusion, that we are one, we are joined. Any feeling of duality or polarity or separation, it's a figment of our imagination. The power of the Lover's card, very much the power of Anam Cara, to learn more about ourselves through a relationship with another. It has to do with that vulnerability that is represented within the Lover's card. And the innocence, and by the innocence I mean it's a relationship without trappings. It doesn't require things, flourishes. It isn't needy. It doesn't ask for. It simply is open to the experience of being. This Anam Cara friendship, this soul bond, as I've experienced it, has to do with our ability to be truly who we are in every way in the presence of someone else, and to truly see that when we look at them. And then it's what we make of that. All the things that grow out of love. Yeah, it could be similar to how you may view a twin flame, or the other in your life, who might be a partner or a lover, that you have that kind of bond to. Now, my experience of the Anam Cara has a bit to do with this separation. Not just because my Anam Cara and I are separated by half a continent, but we are separated in a sense of one step out of the intimate details of our day-to-day life. I think I explored that concept of what an Anam Cara might be through John O'Donoghue's book, The Anam Cara. And he provides the history of the word, agreeing it means soul, friend, but that the roots of that word were from the earliest Christian monasteries and nunneries in ancient Ireland, where two were assigned to be Anam Cara to each other, responsible for support and companionship, responsible for religious guidance to keep each other on their true path, to challenge and question each other. And beautifully, the promise was to be there at the end of life, to give the other their last rites. That important, from moment of declaration, we are Anam Cara, to the moment the death separated them. And if we go back even further, and John O'Donoghue also credits this, as those early Christian settlements were occurring, in Ireland. So often the habits and the procedures and the things that they were doing within those nunneries and monasteries were taken from the land and the culture. And there is some thought by historians that the idea of the Anam Cara within the walls of nunneries and monasteries came from the Druidic concept of spiritual mentorship, of being so totally present with another, to be their guide, to explore the power of the wider experience of living and community and being in touch with the world and others as a way to lead oneself through understanding the physical world and those who are in it to an understanding and a belonging to the Godhead. O'Donoghue often in his books refers to belonging and the house of belonging. And by that he means our natural yearning to be that deeply connected to another, to be totally loved, totally respected, to be able to be totally vulnerable, feel perfectly safe, to have no problem with being challenged, to know someone else has our better interests in mind or in heart. I like that there's a possibility of that. There's a history of the words Anam Cara. The thing about this thing, about having someone we have that kind of relationship to, is you can't really go out there searching for it. I've only ever had one person that had that power, that intimacy and depth of relationship with me. And 4 decades of my life went by before I met them. That does not in any way disrespect my husband, close friends and people I've had in my life that have been of great support to me as I have been to them. There's a distinction of what this energy and spirit of the Anam Cara is, though. If we are searching for this, though, if we, like O'Donoghue says, are the house of belonging, the house he referred to as our physical presence, our living of this life, and if within that house we long to be connected, then we consider who we are in the world, expressing that longing as a way that may bring our Anam Cara into our lives. We think of the pettiness of our emotions and our behaviors at times. That's outside the consideration of the bond of an Anam Cara. We don't make ourselves available for that energy when we behave in such a way to a potential Anam Cara or to anyone. We open our hearts, we honor others, and it is in that way that we may find ourselves blessed with the power of a soul friend in life. We do well to look at the friendships that we have in our life, to think what we bring to them and what our expectations are of them, perhaps even the ways we fail them, the ways we fail ourselves within those relationships, as a way to explore what the concept of Anam Cara might be within all of the relationships of our lives. And then creating the possibility for the shining moment when we recognize another, when our souls touch and know each other and blend. In magical community, one of the things that touches closely on this, from my experience, has been the bond we can have with our working partners, those we choose to commit to, just in that sense of those old times in a religious community, guiding and encouraging and watching over and holding each other true to our path. We can have that kind of intimacy with those we choose to work with along our spiritual path. And then along the way, it's kind of one of those things that until it happens, you just don't know what it can truly be. There's someone that becomes our true soul friend. Not our other half, but another perfectly distinct being that sees us, knows us, loves us, and challenges us. I dedicate this video to my Anam Cara, Luna. She doesn't watch videos, but she knows exactly how I feel about her. She knows what she is to me, as I know what I am to her. There might be something you consider to be a soul friend, a twin flame, the most intimate of partners in your life. I might have a very definite idea what I think of the term Anam Cara. But the beauty of it is, no matter what we call that intimate of a connection, it transcends any other relationship in our life. It's unique in its own way. Neither my Anam Cara's husband nor mine are threatened by our relationship, because they know that our relationship with them is also unique and perfect in its own way. When you consider the concept of the Anam Cara, the soul friend, a good place to consider it from is, what kind of offering can you make of yourself that's the fertile ground that will foster those kinds of very special connections with others? Honestly, I think that the Anam Cara, as I know it, and historically, is one person. It's not a connection to several people. It has more to do with one unique relationship that can be like no other in your life. But understanding the power of it has meant to me that I have been more present to all of the loved ones in my life. It has been for me a greater understanding of the meaning of love. And now I'm off to watch Mum's the Witch video, because I can't wait. I know who her Anam Cara is from things she's mentioned, and now I get to learn exactly what that means to her. I'll link her video below for you. I wish you all mirth and reverence. Mary Part.